New York is the mecca of basketball. I love playing here. When I played here in college, and this is my first time playing here in the pros, and I mean, this atmosphere, whether they're cheering for you, whether they're booing for you, it's amazing. Honestly, I think outside of New Orleans, obviously, I think this might be my favorite place to play outside of New Orleans. I can't even lie to you. I can't lie to you.
Good save there on the New Orleans, making sure the hometown fans. But, I mean, like, put two and two together. Bart's connecting the dots here, Jerry. Biggest star in basketball, one of the biggest stars in the world, playing in New York on the biggest stage after failing on so many free agents. The time will come. Have you thought about the possibility of Zion wearing a Knicks uniform?
I mean, I was thinking about that also before the draft, I mean, I remember even telling my wife our first son was like right around that time to be born. I'm like, if the Knicks get the number one pick, we're naming this kid Zion. Like, that's happening. And she shut that down. And we didn't get the number one pick. I mean, I don't think it's likely, so I'm not even going to allow myself to go down that road because I think it's obviously years away. He's on the contract. But I think the more important thing about that conversation and also the beginning of that interview was very important where he got asked about the Garden. He says, I'm glad you asked that. It's the face, if you're watching, like you said on ESPN News, it's that smile that just can light up the whole skyline in New York that Zion has when he was asked about the Knicks. So more importantly than even Zion going there, I just think now that the sentiment is starting to change when you start hearing about the Knicks and stars going there. And, of course, every player loves playing in the Garden. But what Zion was saying, that was just different. His face was telling me different things and more just like MSG is a cool place to play. His face was telling me different things.
Let me ask you this, though, Jerry. The fact that the Brooklyn Nets seem like that they grab the headlines over the Knicks, even though the Knicks are on an 8-game win streak, but the Nets are the big boys in town, that they'll win a championship most likely before the Knicks. How would that make you feel as a Knicks fan?
I mean, it definitely makes me a little mad because, they grabbed the headline and they were in position to land 2 stars and then make that trade, and it's great. I mean, I still don't know how, if you were either a Knicks fan or just like a casual New York basketball fan, that you just swing to the Nets once they make all those moves. Like, I got tons of respect for the Nets fans who were with them from Jersey coming over to Brooklyn. But I don't know. Listen, it would definitely be frustrating. But I like the rivalry, man. And it's not a rivalry yet. The Nets are great when healthy, and we are trying to get to that point or closer to that point. So, I mean, I would love nothing more, though, than to take a swing at them in the first round. I think that would be electric. That's what I mean. It would be a daunting task, but bring it on. I want to see it.
This is still a Knicks town. I tell you what, you mentioned Knicks on the radio and the lines light up. But, Zion was all giddy, and that was only 2,000 fans in the building. Can you imagine the atmosphere when they host a game and they're the home team? And will you be in the building?
We are. Yeah, I think so. I mean, we're about to have another baby. I got to see what Nick I could name this kid after. But, if everything's all good with mom and the baby and she's cool with me dipping to a game for a night, I'll be there. I mean, you're absolutely right. To think that this entire run, too, is happening with the protocols, which as they should, obviously, but I wouldn't even want to know what Zion's answer would have been in an overtime game like that with 15, 20,000 in the building. I mean, it would have been it's going to be incredible.
Before we let you go, can you make the case for Tom Thibodeau, Coach of the Year?
I mean, I can. It's tough because you really got to look at what Monty Williams has done. So I'm going to start off by negging the case for Tom Thibodeau. Monty Williams has done an incredible job. But that being said, this is a team that had zero expectations. This is a team that struck out completely, according to everybody, in free agency, although I love some of the signings that they made. A second-round pick for D. Rose, you give that to the front office, but Tom Thibodeau has every one of these guys playing hard. They're playing defense first, which is rare for any NBA team, let alone the Knicks at this point. And 4 or 5 games over 500 at this point in the year is a 4 seed. If they could hang on to a 4 seed, I mean, it makes the race a lot closer. And again, the Suns, everybody knew they were good coming out of the bubble last year when they won 6 straight. So expectations don't ultimately make the final call, but I don't know, man. Give me Tibbs.
Hey,
I do love Monty. Monty's fantastic.
hey, Amari's my guy, man, and I loved you on Power. But is it any possibility that we can get a reboot of Entourage?
Listen, it's funny. People have been talking about that lately. I think a lot of people want the kind of half-hour escape comedy back a little bit to kind of sit down on a Sunday night with friends and family. But I don't know. We're getting old, man. We're all getting old.
We want to see the growth. We want to see the growth in the characters coming back when you can't recover from drinking all night anymore.
That would be fun. It'd be Entourage in in a much different way where we're at 4-day hangovers.
It's great to catch up with you. We'll wait to see if there's an Entourage reboot, and we'll wait to see exactly how great this Knicks reboot will be this year.